bachelor's in aerospace engineering from the Punjab Engineering College in India, and most of my bachelor's was actually engaged in doing research and with an aim to pursue a PhD probably. And before even before I came to the United States, I had mainly built a background towards doing a PhD, and most of the aim was towards that side. After I came to just after my bachelor's, I came over to the United States in 2017, and I did my master's in aerospace engineering, again with a specialization in computational fluid dynamics from the University of Michigan. And so most of my master's was again very heavily engaged in doing research-based coursework, and also a lot of research in general over there as well. So that was my main aim over there. But due to certain circumstances, most of my master's wasn't funded. It was funded by me myself, and as a result, due to certain circumstances, I had to move out, and go for a job. I could not have applied for a PhD at that time. So I am currently working, although I would keep my employer name a bit. I would probably want to do that. So I'm currently working, although it's not the same as the profile that I originally intended to work in. That is the area of CFD. But it's still a bit linked to the aero industry in the sense that they have a lot of work in the embedded systems domain. So that's my current portfolio. And moving forward, I wish to do a PhD in probably starting September 2021. And I just want to seek your advice on how should I approach a PhD, whether I should go into the same areas where I had specialized previously, or should I consider newer areas? So that's mainly my background and my history. So,
right. Yeah. So Gaurav, so you are sure about doing PhD, right?
Yes. So as far as doing a PhD is yeah.
Or do you have any questions whether that's a right decision or not?
Yes, that's also one question that I wish to ask. Although I had a very strong motivation to do a PhD in the sense that I wanted to go for research scientist and research engineering roles in the future, and to be able to conduct independent research on my own. But I just wish to ask you whether a PhD would be suitable for my profile, considering the fact that I'm already working in some sort of with scientific areas. So.
I think number one thing I always say that any student should or should not do a PhD should be driven by his or her interest, right? So that's
Yes.
number one. So let's say if you are motivated, you really want to do it, then you should go ahead.
Okay.
Do it. I mean, it's not about whether I will find a job after that. It should not be about where I will find a job. It should not be about that. It should be about, I would love to do a PhD. I know the research motivates me. It should be about that. The drive should be about the interest, not about the outcome.
Yes.
So that's number one. So if you are driven, I think you should go ahead and do it. The second part comes in whether it would be beneficial for your future as compared to where you are right now with your master's. My answer would be 100%.
Okay.
Very beneficial. I have found it extremely rewarding. It doesn't mean that you don't have to work after that, but it's extremely rewarding for sure. Because you and because nowadays PhD is also tied up with your immigration status. You are able to immigrate here, find a green card and all that. That's other plus point. As a master's, it's not. It's almost zero. So that's another thing. If you want to stay in this country, that will allow you to do that. The degree will allow you to do that.
Yes.
And with PhDs, as I said, a lot of options opens up. You can become a professor. You can become, as the position you have mentioned, a research scientist, whatever. So most of them are PhDs. And
yes.
If you look at any industry, even the place where you work, and probably if you look at the profiles of people who are
Yes, yes. I fully understand your point. I think you mentioned the fact that the immigration also is tied up with the PhD program. So I did have an idea of it before I came to the United States. Although like I was aware of the restrictions within the aerospace domain at that time, but mainly my motivation was that, yeah. Yes, yes. Yes, 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 that's right. And one of the things I also wanted to mention is that, one of the good things that has happened is probably the fact that, I've also come to know a bit more about how the corporate world works, and what are the differences between working within a company environment and working within, say, a research environment, because most of my previous work was within a university and it's probably my first experience. So, and I also find that, I'm not like a very good fit for working within that sort of a corporate environment. I find more of a fit towards working with, professors and research labs. And so that's one of my motivations.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, absolutely right. If that is the case, definitely then PhD is going to help you a lot. I mean, that's the only way you can do it. Because, before my this job, I worked for ANSYS.
Okay.
More or less, it's a similar company as you're working in, I would say.
Yes.
I didn't enjoy it at all.
Yes.
And after 6, 8 months, I had to leave. So
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
as I said, most of those companies are product companies, so more or less your job is tied up with the sales.
Yes.
So I didn't like that. But as I said, probably many people enjoy it. That's fine. But if you work in a companies like GE or GM or for example, um, Honeywell or Boeing or Lockheed or any big companies that you're going to work on as a PhD, if you are in the R&D unit, your job will be tied up with the research. You will do a lot of that sort of work closely with professors, a lot of grants and proposals and new stuff, and work with the lab and new technologies and so forth.
Yes, yes, yes. That's also one of my motivations to continue on a research track and
Right.
go forward with a PhD. I couldn't hear this sentence. Yes, 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 yes. That's right. That's right. Yes, yes. Yes, that's right. So, apart from this, I had a few questions on the research areas where I should probably target and to take your advice on it. Because previously so the type of work that I was doing previously in the aero departments is essentially done within like applied mathematics departments, not like so it just happens that the University of Michigan has a very fundamental focus on number of areas. Where but most of the aero work is mostly on the CAE side, usually on the engineering side, and this was mainly a more fundamental areas where I had actually focused. So I was like a bit wary of whether I should go back into the same areas where I had specialized, or I should probably leverage my current profile, say that I have developed some background in embedded systems and, probably try to go for robotics or some other PhD program, something like that. So I was actually very, very confused regarding deciding my research area about where I should probably focus on PhD. Should it be in the same areas or should I target a bit different? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I understand your point.
So for you to say what topic should I choose, I think you are the person who should answer that question, because by this time you should know what is the area that excites you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so I think in that sense, I would say that, I did have some excitement as far as CFD is concerned previously, but considering that I have done like some research and I have been able to write some research articles as well. So now it seems the landscape seems to be a bit even now. So it's just like my primary motivation is to be able to conduct research. So and be able to be able to do an independent research from a long term perspective. So that's like one of my
I mean, as
bigger
I said,
motives.
when you say independent research, let's say if you're working in a national lab or as a professor, everybody does independent research,
Mhm.
right? But of course, you have to work in the regime because you have to work on bring money. Also, you have to see where the money is. So, but those are the people who are, I would say, much more independent.
Yes, yes, yes. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So as I said, you can always find that, but stick to the topic of interest. Figure that out. What topic of interest? What is the topic of your interest is, and go after that topic. Because trust me, 5 year, 10 year down the road, you will not be doing the same thing which you are doing now. You will be doing many different things.
Yes, yes, yes. That's perfectly right. Yes. So yeah, so that's one thing. Yeah, and apart from that, I had another question. So usually, like of course, aero engineering departments do have this focus, which I was working on, but also mechanical engineering, for instance, has a similar focus where professors in fluid or CFD are working. So because also aero is a bit restrictive, and also from an immigration perspective, if you, of course, if you have a green card, that's a different story, but if you don't have it, it's a bit different. So I was thinking, like, should I consider the mechanical department for doing a PhD, or should I direct only target the aero departments?
I think mechanical material science would be the right choice.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was also thinking.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I think that's the right thinking, because I have seen that in the past, that and that has happened to my friends also. Like they were very good in computational
mhm.
methods, but since their department was not mechanical, but some other department like mining or civil, they probably got less opportunities because they said, "Hey, you aren't from this department."
Yes, yes,
So if you are in mechanical engineering department doing that, that's how the system is. But that has not demotivated me to not look for opportunities, to be honest. But definitely that was a big hindrance, I can say for sure. So like if you have a degree in aerospace, the immediate thing that the other person thinks of is, oh, you have a aerospace engineering. Maybe you are saying, no, it has nothing to do with just the department, but I am my expertise in fluid mechanics. So let's say if you have done CFD research in aero versus CFD in mechanical, I would say CFD in mechanical would be the right choice.
yes, yes. I think that's a very valid point, because I also, like, when I talk to employers, like, a number of them used to feel that aerospace engineering is a bit
Yeah, because
on the other side.
the perception goes that way, and then you have to justify it, and that's like you don't have that much time. So why give that perception? That's what I'm saying is, I always say if you have degree which is more diverse, like mechanical materials, that would be the right degree also anytime, because you can apply, especially material science engineering is very diverse right now. You can work for any company you can imagine.
Yes, yes, yes. That's one. That's also one point that I
Right.
should probably focus on. Apart from this, I wanted to ask you about um, about your experience, how it has been, because as you mentioned, you also worked in ANSYS, and you also worked in national labs, and also you have worked in, like, a number of capacities within companies also, and also in now, of course, as a research in the research domain. So I wanted to know a bit of a difference from your point of view. Like, were you able to do research within the corporate environment, or were you able to find more research oriented work within your current profile and in national labs? Yeah. Yes, yes. I'm unable to hear actually. As Yeah. Okay. Okay. I see. I see your point. So it was a bit different in that sense. Okay.
The I mean, every company is a product based company, but my maybe the role I was in was was a role was like that, which I did not perceive is going to come that way. But it happened to be a role where it was tied up with some sort of a sales and all that. And I think even if you're working in a companies like Ansys or similar companies, if you're working in their R&D division, you may get a chance probably. But what I found is more or less, your goal has to be tied up with the sales role and so forth. And it also depends on which, like any company do you join, what division are you in, and what role are you in. So let's say if I was fortunate enough that when I joined certain of some of these companies, I was in the product which was like under development.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to involve in with working with a lot of professors. I was involved in working with a lot of national labs and working with proposals and all that. So in that way, it was came out to be the role which I was enjoying it. So I was
Okay.
able to publish papers even after PhD. Even now, I publish. So things moved on in that sense. But if you ask me how easy it is for anybody, I would say it's personal. A lot of people lose the motivation to do it also.
Okay. I see.
And but definitely, I would say with industries, publishing a paper would not be something that would considered as as something that goes in your performance review or something. You know what I mean? But
Yes. Yes. Yes.
definitely, if you work in a national lab or in as a
Yes, that's what I also have been finding. Like, there's a bit less scope for doing innovation and doing research, and there's a bit hindrance when you actually work towards that side. So yeah, that's what I was also like getting to know. So yeah, so okay, so I think apart from that, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, but mainly I think your advice would be to move only towards fluid mechanics and not to and to stick to the previous areas of specialization where I had been working on. Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I see your point. Yes, 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 yes.
Because you can't do PhD without an interest. You have to find that area very interesting.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, Gaurav?
Yes, yes. That's good. Very nice talking to you, Amit. Thanks a lot for the advice. Thanks. Okay.